Hi everyone, I'm very glad because for this masterclass we have a very interesting expert. Her name is Carlota Elle and she's a certified kinesiologist and emotional healer. And she's here to talk about emotions and the relationship with the body. So thank you so much, Carlota, for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
No, thank you. So before we start, I want to explain why we decided to talk about this. Many people, it doesn't matter if they are new immigrants or immigrants who have established in a new country for a while, start developing, I don't know, problems accepting their new status, their new lives, the new structure that they are having in their new life, and start comparing. This is very normal. I believe that we start comparing what we had in our old country and the things that we no longer have here, etc., etc.
Yes.
But sometimes it gets bigger and bigger and it becomes a snowball that we cannot stop, and it fills us up with a lot of anxiety, sadness, nostalgic thoughts, etc. And well, when we were discussing about this, when we were preparing it, we were thinking that somehow it doesn't allow us to function as good as we could or should or even would like to. So you, with your expertise and all the things that you know, I was never conscious that emotions were in connection with our body. And when we feel something in our body, there's something that is telling us it's because you're not doing this, or it's because you are actually doing that. So I will leave you the stage, I don't know, to let us know more about what emotions do with us and how can we work with that.
Yeah, so first of all, I want to say that we tend to think that the mind and the body are two different entities, but actually they work together, they support each other, and the one can affect the other and vice versa. So if we don't get attached to an emotion that we feel, then it can flow and it doesn't get stuck in the body, it doesn't get stored in the body, and therefore it won't affect the body. But if we get attached to the emotion, so if we feel that emotion, if we hold on to that, to a specific emotion, then that can affect the body. For example, it can lower the energy levels, our immune system, it can upset the digestive system, or can create aches and pains. So one of the most famous example I can think of would be when we feel excited, when we feel anxious, and we feel it in our stomach. When we say that, oh, I feel the butterflies in my stomach, it's the best example I can think of. But any emotions can affect our body. For example, anger can affect, where do we feel anger? We usually feel it in our head. Or when we feel sad, where do we feel sadness? It's usually in our heart area. So it's really important to be aware of the way we feel and how those emotions can affect the body. And it's also important to let go. So when we become aware of our emotions, it's important to let them go. So letting go is difficult, but at the same time is a very empowering thing to do. So why do we find it difficult to let go of any emotions, or also that can affect us mentally and physically? It's difficult because letting go will lead us to a path of uncertainty. On the other hand, if we don't let go, if we keep holding on to something, holding on to that emotion, whether we like that emotion or not, we know that emotion. It's a certain emotion, so we will rather hold on to that emotion that we don't like, maybe, than not holding on to that emotion. So to let go of that emotion, which will make us feel unsure, if it makes sense.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yes, so that's why it's difficult to let go. And in the case of moving to another country, whether we move because we want a fresh start or because we are helping our family back home, it can bring us lots of challenges. It can be difficult, and And we will definitely still have some emotions that we are holding on to that are related to the past, that are related to our home country. But if we find that in our new country, so in the country that we are living in, we find that we cannot move on, we cannot move forward, it's good to check how we are feeling about our home country and how we are feeling about our new country. So a good exercise to do, which we can do now, would be for everyone to close their eyes and to think about your country, so your home country. Think about your people. Think about your friends, your family, the life you had before. And just take a few seconds to check in with your body, with your mind, what emotions come up, and where you feel that emotion or those emotions. Do you feel them in your stomach maybe, or in your in your head, or on your back, lower back, neck, could be anywhere. And allow yourself to feel that emotion. And now I would like you to think about the new country you're living in. And ask yourself, how do I feel about this new country I'm living in? What emotions come up? Where you feel the emotion in your body. Yes, so this is a good exercise. You can open your eyes. This is a very simple exercise to understand the emotions that come up, which are connected to your home country, and the emotions that come up that are connected to your new country. So have you found any differences between your home country and and your new country, where you knew your country where you're living in?
Well, it was kind of weird because for both of them, I was feeling very happy. So the emotion, I was feeling it here actually.
Okay.
And it was kind of the butterflies that you were mentioning before. The only thing is that when you said, so think about your new country and what emotions you develop, I actually thought, oh, it's sad that we cannot like fusion them. Like, I would love to have both of them at the same time. And maybe this is something that is happening to all of us sometimes. Somehow that's why we are in that between loves, you know? We want them to have the same thing, the best things for both countries.
Yes, absolutely. The thing is that we can make the most of the new country, and we could never have everything, everything from both countries, unfortunately. I'm sure everyone would love that, but that's not possible. So the best thing is for us to just focus on what we can do to make our lives better in the new country, and to remember what we left behind, but not in a melancholic way, but in a positive way. That the fact that we moved abroad, there is a reason why we moved abroad, which I'm sure is to better our lives, to improve our job situation, just to change, because some people move just because they want to change. And if they want to change, it's maybe because they were ready to make a change and they weren't satisfied in their home country. So it's important to remember why we moved abroad rather than why we left. Okay. And always to remember the positivity of both countries. So it would be amazing to know what everyone felt with this exercise, you know, but I suggest everyone to remember the feelings that they felt when they were thinking about both countries. And so emotions are so powerful, and they affect, as I said, that they affect the body, and also the body can affect the mind. For example, when we think about if we fall down, when we fall down, how do we feel? I will feel scared. I will feel a little trauma, right? And that fear will get stuck in the body if I don't release the fear. But any other physical problems can affect the mind, and the mind can affect the body. So in case of letting go, for example, that can be connected to the large intestine, which is the last part of the intestine. So if we think about letting go, those who cannot let go usually tend to be constipated. Not everyone, but lots of people may feel constipated because there is the inability to let go, okay, which is connected to that part of the body. But thinking about other physical problems, for example, if someone is suffering from a stomachache, could be that they find it difficult to digest life's experiences, or if they have stress, they feel stress in their shoulders or in the neck, also the lower back. Usually we tend to feel stress in this area anyway. It's because we are carrying lots of responsibilities. Also, anything connected to the legs, to the knees, for example, it's the inability to move forward. So if we think about walking, you know, moving our legs, if we find it, if our legs are painful, are aching, there might be that we find it difficult to move forward. But anything in the body, this is so interesting because anything, I mean, there is a relationship between the mind and the body that is so fascinating, and there is a meaning for everything, and I believe there is a meaning for everything. So if you have any aches and pains, or if you're suffering from any physical problem, yeah, maybe is not related to an emotion. But if you had that problem for a long time, there must be also an emotion connected to it. There must be. And if you have been feeling in a certain way for a long time, definitely also could have affected something within the body. Because when we talk about well-being, it's not just our physical part or just our emotional part, but it's both together that work together.
And as you were saying before, it can be or either the emotion affecting your body and then the body sending you this reaction, or maybe this pain sending you a sign for you to feel an emotion. And I believe that could happen as well, because let's say that you suffered accident and you hurt your leg, but maybe you didn't receive the right treatment or whatever it is, and you're still having this pain. Yes. So maybe this pain will develop on somehow something in your emotions. And is that the connection?
Yes, absolutely. I heard of lots of people who maybe had a fall or had an accident and they hurt their knees or their legs or the lower back, and they had many surgeries, but then the pain kept coming back. So I believe that there is an emotional component to that, because that the fear, even though it's in the subconscious mind, because maybe consciously we're not aware of that, but unconsciously we are, is still there stored in the legs or in the knees. For example, I had a client many years ago, and she had a knee pain for a long time, 20 years. So I saw her one session, and we discovered that her knee pain started when she had an argument with the lady anyway she was living with. And once we released the emotional component, she stood up and she didn't have any pain anymore. So this is an example of how, you know, the mind and the body are connected. So interesting. And she had 20 years. So it's important to be aware of how we feel, because otherwise we tend to feel in a certain way, and we get used to it. You know, it's normal to have some aches and pains. It's normal to have a skin problem. It's normal to have digestive problems. But to me, it's not normal. You need to be aware of what your body is telling you, because there is a message behind everything. And I'm not talking about if today I ate something and now I feel bad, I feel sick. It's not nothing. But if I feel sick for the next few months, then there is something going on there that I need to understand about myself.
Yeah.
So it's really, really important to become aware of our body and our mind, definitely.
I stood thinking about you saying that letting go or not letting go is a fear that we have of the unknown. And I totally connect with that, because I work with people facing changes and transitioning either in life or job or career, etc.
Yes.
And of course, it is very hard sometimes for some people to face these changes just because they don't exactly know what's expecting them, or either what do they have to expect from that experience.
Yes, it's uncertainty. Uncertainty is scary. But if we are not happy where we are, we need to just risk it. We need to just go for it. And whether we like it or not, we have to do it if we are not happy. But if we are happy where we are, then we don't have to go anywhere else. But if we want to change, then we have to make that change. We have to face another reality, I would call it. And yes, it's easy to just hold on to what we know. There are some, you know, sometimes we can hold on to some emotions that we are not happy about, but this is all we know. And that's why it's good to look at the other side and say, okay, so what do I want? Do I want to keep feeling like that? Or do I want to finally make a change and feel in a different way, whether I know what's going to happen? But what's going to happen cannot be worse than what I've been holding on so far, I believe. And I believe that change is always good, especially if we are not happy right now, whether we're talking about something physical or emotional. If we're not happy, we need to make a change. And make a change is an unknown thing, but it's also a positive thing.
Yeah,
to focus on that, so on the positive that change will bring, rather than being scared of what's going to happen or what might happen.
Yeah, and of course, it depends on us of thinking about this change in a more positive way possible, because not everybody is able to go back to their countries, even if they would like to. And there's a lot of people who really need to change immediately or run away from war, from political situations, from, I don't know, money problems, economy, etc. But there might be ways, if you cannot go back to your country because you're risking your life, maybe a way of going back to that country just a little bit would be to look for people who are from your same country or belong to a community of the same people that have to live the same experience.
Absolutely, yeah. So it will be good to get to know the country you're living in. And first of all, in order to feel more welcome, if you don't feel welcome, then you need to make yourself feel welcomed. And if you miss your country, then it's good to get to know some people from your own country that are also living in the new country.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a shy person, then there is Facebook nowadays, so you can join a Facebook group, and I'm sure there are so many Facebook groups with people from your own country. This is a little thing that anyone can do who need to feel at home and needs to be surrounded by their people, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now, for example, we've been saying, okay, so we really have to adapt to this change. We really have to accept letting go. How do we do that? How do we let go?
Okay, so first of all, we need to want to let go. Because when we don't want to change, when we don't want to let go, then nothing can change. But if we set the decision, if we set the intention that we want to let go, then straight away we send the information to our subconscious mind, which is the most powerful part of our mind, that we have made the decision. So it will start working, and then we can take inspiring actions in order for us to let go. So first of all, making the decision to change.
Do you have to feel it? Do you have to really feel the decision?
Yes, if someone doesn't know whether they want to change or not, they have to ask themselves, do I want to change? Such a simple question, but do I want to change? If the answer is no, then no. But if the answer is yes, then great. And then what can I do to make a change? What can I do to improve my life? What can I do in order for me to let go of what I left behind? So it's important to ask yourself the questions, because otherwise it becomes lots of ideas in the head, and then they don't get, they will keep being ideas. But when you write things down, everything becomes clearer. Also writing all the questions down, like, do I want to make a change? What can I do to make a change? How can I make my life better? What are 3 important things that I need to do today or this week in order to improve my life? And it's okay to feel sad sometimes if you're still thinking about your home country. It's okay to feel homesick. It's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel anxious. It's okay to feel guilty. It's okay. You just allow yourself to feel how you feel, because you don't want to then stop yourself from feeling the emotions. We are made of emotions, so it's okay. But you shouldn't allow yourself to feel that emotion for a long time. And like, I remember once I read that you are allowed to feel a negative emotion for 90 seconds, and that's it. Then you have to change it. I don't know, maybe
Oh, wow.
seconds it starts to get stored in the body, I'm not sure. Yes, so allow yourself to feel that emotion, those emotions, it's okay. But then knowing that you can make a change, knowing that you can shift those emotions, knowing that you can make your life better, because you can do everything that you want. Okay, we just have to make the decision to do whatever we want to do, because life is about making decisions. So where we are now, and our life is based on all the decisions that we have made so far. And every day we make decisions, every minute we make decisions. So we just have to make bigger decisions or different decisions in order to change what we're not happy with. I know it sounds easy, but it is easy.
Yeah, but you're saying allow yourself to feel those emotions, but sometimes we don't really know what emotion we're feeling. Maybe, for example, it happens to me a lot that when I'm hungry,
Okay.
I get angry. But instead of saying I'm hungry, then I'm angry. And I don't know why, but I am angry, And well, now I'm conscious about that, and I try not to be hungry if I don't want to be angry. But there's a lot of people who react, for example, angry to feelings, like to certain feelings like sadness or what do you say, fearfulness or things like that. So in this case, how can we really recognize what we are feeling?
So the easiest thing to do is to close your eyes and just ask yourself, how do I feel? Okay, if I'm aware that I feel angry, so that the anger is the main emotion that I feel most of the time, then I ask myself, why do I feel the anger? Why? And something will come up, definitely. When you close your eyes, you just connecting with your head, with yourself. So you need to listen carefully to what your body and your mind is saying to you, because there are always messages coming to you. So if you close your eyes and you ask yourself, why am I feeling this anger? Something will come up, or an image will come up. I don't know, your mom might come up, or your dad might come up, your sisters, your brothers, or work, or someone saying to you that you weren't good enough. Or ask yourself the question, why? Why? And keep asking yourself the question, why? And again, write everything down. So why do I feel the anger? Something will come up as like, because da 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 da. And then based on the answer, you ask yourself again, why? And why? You keep asking yourself why until you find out the real reason why you feel this anger. So it's all about, it's about a journey within yourself, because no one else can tell you the answers to that. I mean, some people may help you, but the real answers are within yourself. And when you ask yourself the questions, you just need to listen carefully. If you're not used to of listening to yourself, to your thoughts, it can be difficult. But the more you practice this exercise, the better it gets. It's just about listening to your body, basically, your mind and your body. Once we recognize the emotion, which is great, because it's important to know what we are feeling and why we are feeling it. So based on the answers that your mind came up with, then you need to change the situation that you're living that is making you feel that way. Okay. If it is something from the past, so something that you cannot change straight away, or something that you just cannot change because it's based on other people's behavior, for example, someone has told you something, someone you haven't seen for 20 years, for example, so something that you cannot change, right? Then you need to forgive. So forgive those people who have hurt you, if that's the case, and also forgive yourself. Forgiving yourself if you feel guilty about something, if you feel ashamed about something, then you need to forgive yourself. And forgiveness is like letting go, because they are connected. Okay, it's difficult.
That's right.
So powerful, but it's difficult. But you just need to tell yourself that you are ready to forgive yourself, that you're ready to forgive that person, those people that have hurt you. And you know, it will take, I'm not saying that tomorrow it will be a different, totally different day, but slowly, the more you work on forgiving yourself, forgiving others, the easier it gets. And then eventually you will feel free from any emotions that you have been holding on to. It doesn't mean that you're forgetting. So let's say that you are angry, or you feel sad, or you feel guilty, and you need to forgive someone. It doesn't mean that you are forgetting what happened. When you forgive, it means that you are making peace with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because whether you're angry or not, that emotion is not going to affect that person. Yes. But the emotions that you feel are going to affect you, no one else. So that's why it's important to take responsibilities for your own feelings, for your own emotions, for your own actions, because your life is your responsibility. No one can change your life for you, but you can. And also, you cannot change other people's lives. You cannot change how other people feel. You cannot change anything. You can only change how you react to situations. You can only change your present moment. You can only change yourself. And when you let go, when you forgive yourself and others, you basically allow yourself to live in a present moment. You can embrace what's happening around you, and you can just look at the positivity rather than the negativity. And the same goes with the body. Also, when we forgive, forgiveness is not just about the mind and the emotions. It's everything that goes with the body. Any aches and pains is connected to, as we said, to these emotions. So when you forgive, you're also letting those emotions out of your body. So when you feel, for example, if you feel anxious, or you feel, fear, and you feel it in your shoulders, but once you say, oh, I let everything go, then I'm sure everyone will finally feel, oh, I feel more relaxed now.
Or lighter, or yeah.
Yes. So that's why it's so important to, first of all, be aware of how we feel, and second, to finally wanting to change, and then doing the steps. So wanting to change, forgiving, taking responsibility of our lives, basically, and accept that we cannot change everything, and to let go of what we cannot change, but just to focus on what we can change and make it better.
Yeah, because sometimes it's easier for us to blame on other people or circumstances. For example, I left my country because of the insecurity, or because of I don't know what else. And yeah, of course it was, but you cannot complain all the time and blame that circumstance for you having made this decision.
Yes, we cannot change what happens, and we cannot change how our country is run. And if what happened in our country made us leave, then we have to accept that. We have to accept that we cannot change that. And all we can do is to just focus on the decisions that we make today and that we made, which is moving to another country, because the fact that we move to another country is because we want to better our life, right? So we just have to focus on what we can do right now, rather than looking back, rather than thinking and focusing on why we left, okay, or being angry at my country, or being angry at the politicians, for example, being angry at the war, which obviously you can be, but it's more important for everyone to focus on what you have now. So what do I have now? I have a job, I have new friends, everything's new. Yes, it can be uncomfortable, but how can I make this better? How can I improve what I have already? And it's also important to focus on the positivity. I know that it's a cliche, because everyone says you need to focus on the positivity, on the positive side, but it is actually an important thing to do. And I know it's difficult if you feel in a negative state. It's difficult to look at the positive side. It is difficult. You need to practice. So your mind needs to be trained to focus on the positivity. So if your mind has been focusing on the negativity for 20 years, and finally you decide that, okay, today I'm going to focus on the positivity, obviously your mind is going to fight with you, because your mind knows the negativity rather than the positivity. So you need to train your mind. So every day we all need to work on focusing on the positive side. Okay, so what is this country giving me? What are the things that I love about this new country? So if maybe today you will say, oh, nothing. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Tomorrow you will say, well, actually I like that the sun is nice, today the sun is shining, so yeah, I like that. Or someone said thank you 3 times to me, this is nice. So if you focus on the positive of what you have right now, then slowly you will see that automatically, and it will become spontaneous. And then slowly you will let go of looking at the negative side.
I believe at the beginning you might, if you're not used to this, you might feel even ridiculous, right?
Yeah,
saying, oh yeah, the birds, oh yeah, the blue sky, oh yeah, the ocean, for example, no? And you don't even believe yourself when you're doing this. But with the time, you might start digesting all this information, right? Because it has more impact when you're not having a nice experience in a moment. So it's easy. We were discussing that the other day, that it's easier to see a news or a journal or I don't know, any kind of TV chain sharing good news at 10 p.m. every night. Actually, everything is about the most terrible things happening, because we like in a certain way to focus more on the bad things that are happening than in the good ones. So it's kind of reprogramming our minds to actually perceive positive things easier or faster than the negative ones.
absolutely. We need to train our mind, so reprogram our mind to see the positive and to be positive. Yes, and we are surrounded by negativity, unfortunately, because most of the people can be negative, and the media shows us negative stuff. In fact, I remember years ago I started to read a website called Only Positive News.
Okay, we have to share that.
No, I don't want to read the news. I don't want to watch them on TV. I just want to hear good news. And that doesn't mean that I don't know the negative news, but I'm not always surrounded by negativity, because I don't need that. No one needs that. You can know what's going on in the world anyway without watching the news every day, I think, you know.
Yeah.
Definitely reprogramming the mind, because the mind is such a strong thing. You know, the mind can control everything, especially the subconscious mind, which is the part of the mind that we cannot control. I mean, it's not it is the spontaneous mind, but it's not the one that we create. For example, let's say that I want to go out and meet people. I am consciously making a decision to go out and meet people. But if my subconscious mind is saying to me, oh no, you can't because you are scared to meet people, you are too shy to meet people, you're not good enough to meet people, then I will not meet people, because my subconscious mind is the strongest part. So that's why it can be programmed by us working on the conscious mind, so to make the conscious decisions to change our thoughts every single day. So when you focus on the positive all the time, or most of the time, then slowly your mind can be reprogrammed to think of to stay on the positive side all the time. Because if your mind is always focusing on the negative, and you want to change, because I'm sure that lots of people want to change but they find it difficult to change, it's because there is that part of them that believe that change is not possible. But change is always possible. We just need to want to make the change. It's all about wanting. It's all about setting the intention to change, and we can do it, knowing that it is possible.
Yeah, it's great that you recapped on that, because it's so important. We might stop comparing our countries as much. And it's not that we really have to stop doing it, because I believe we're going to do it all the time. Of course, you are from Italy and you live in UK, and maybe you've been in a lot of Italian restaurants and your food is not the same thing if you're not in Italy. Right? So those things, exactly. So those things are going to happen all the time. And of course, there's no better food than in our own countries. But not letting go those other things that we are just not looking at this moment where we are right now, and that are beautiful and positive, and good opportunities to us. That's where we really need to let go of what we have there. If we had a car and now we have to travel by bus, well, maybe now we can see this, know better the city, or and be able to arrive somewhere faster than before. Like, I am from Mexico City, so now when I'm in a bus, I'm very happy because I arrive like 3 times faster than when I was in Mexico with a car, or things like that. Not all the time, of course. I like the comfortability of my car or the air conditioner or whatever it is, but if I still think of all those things instead of thinking that, oh well, now here I can move myself faster, and actually the system is better. So yeah, it's in the attitude and the vision that you adopt to.
Absolutely, yes. And so, you know, the exercise that we done at the beginning. So when thinking about the home country and something came up, some negative emotions came up, then it's important to ask yourself a question like, why do I feel that way? The why is always very important to ask yourself. So why do I feel this way, and how I can let go of that emotion connected to my home country.
Yeah.
And when thinking about your new country you're living in, then you can ask yourself what the same questions. Why do I feel in a certain way? Because also you may feel in a negative way. You may feel guilty when thinking about your home country. You may feel sad when you think about your new country,
Mm-hmm.
for example. It depends. Everyone is different, so everyone will feel in a different way. So if you've been feeling in a negative way when thinking about the country you're living in, then ask yourself, how can I make my life better now in here? How and why always are the most important questions. And
And
if
there's where you're taking your responsibility on changing that situation.
absolutely, and if you have been feeling any body sensations, ask yourself, what is my body telling me? Why is this feeling connected to these emotions? I know this can be a difficult question, but you need to ask yourself, why am I feeling these sensations in my body? What is my body telling me? And if you listen carefully, something will come up.
That's incredible. Really, thank you for this masterclass. I've learned a lot, and I'm sure that everybody else is learning a lot from you. And just to to clarify that this exercise, of course, today we are focusing on us being as like acting and thinking as immigrants, and letting go of the thoughts that we are actually feeling scared, mortified, sad, worried, whatever it is, the word about our old country and the new country. But this exercise that I just suggested just a few minutes before can be done for everything else. Like, letting go is something that is part of our life every day. Every day when we go to sleep, we let go the day that we lived in that moment. So
Yeah.
we are constantly letting go of things. So I believe this exercise, if it's related to our migratory process, if we do it today, we will feel something today. And if we do it in 2 years, we might be feeling something different.
Absolutely, because every day is different. Every day is different. And if you do it every day, if you feel like you need to do it every day, you can do it, and you will feel different every day. But if you decide to make a change in your life, whether it's physical or emotional, then you can do this exercise. You can ask your body and your mind how they are feeling and what they are telling you. That will help you to understand yourself. But mainly, I want to say that changing the way you feel physically and emotionally can be possible. It is possible if you really want it. I'm not talking obviously about every single physical problems, but most of them they can be changed, and your life situation can be changed. And if you cannot change that, then your outlook can change.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, change is change and letting go is are the two key words, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. Something that we have to tattoo somewhere in our minds.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Carlota, for your time, for sharing all this with us. I'm very happy that you're a member of the board of experts at the member zone, and very sad as well that you're not going to be there for the meet and greet party on the 25th. You're going to be in a show or a convention or something.
On an event, yes, I will be on a 4-day event on the working on the mindset. Obviously, because even I do this for work, I always have to work on
Yeah, for yourself.
myself always until the day
Yeah.
I die.
So then you can fix us. Anyway, if you have any question, if you have any comment on this masterclass, you can comment via the member zone, of course, because Carlota is there and all the information about her is there. But you can also comment inside this summit. We can receive your questions and we can pass them to Carlota so she can answer them via email or something like that. Thank you so much, Carlota, for everything, and see you next time.
Thank you.